Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and I've got two incredible women joining me today, Beth and Razia, chatting about their wonderful new documentary. It's called What Tomorrow Brings, and we're talking all about their incredible mission here on Behind the Velvet Rope. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade. So excited to have these in-studio guests joining me today because what an inspirational documentary we're going to be talking about. What Tomorrow Brings, guys. Congratulations. What a story. You're an inspirational woman over there.
She is.
Huge fan. It's one thing to interview the movie stars and be like, I'm a huge fan of yours. She's changing people's lives.
She's the real deal.
She's the real deal. So Beth Murphy, tell me how you found this incredible lady and why you made a movie about her.
So yeah, Razia and I met a few years before she was starting this girls' school in Afghanistan, and we stayed in touch. We were both working on programs that were supporting Afghan war widows. And we met, we stayed in touch, and then I couldn't believe when she said, I want to go back home, I want to go back to Afghanistan and start a school for girls in a village that has never ever allowed its daughters to be educated. So for the first time, girls going to school in this village. And I was so inspired by that idea, and I thought, I want to go with you.
First of all, the million-dollar question, I just want to call you Razi. After she said Razi, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Razia, what a move. I mean, what an incredible inspiration to do what you're doing in an environment where it is near to impossible to do what you're doing. Talk to me about this journey. First of all, how did it start? When did it kick in for you that this was what you wanted to do? And talk to me about the travails of going through it.
Well, it's just that, after 9/11, I think it was such a terrible time that I think it changed everybody's life. And it changed mine too. I had a small business in a town, Duxbury in Massachusetts. And I was the only Muslim in that town, and also an Afghan. So what I saw really, the reaction of people of the community, that they wanted to help me to get through in case somebody is going to harm me. And I was surprised that I came to know people that I never knew, and they came to my aid and gave me their cards and told me, you can call me in the middle of the night in case you need help. So I think that kind of changed my life in a way that, with all the things that happening in the world, is that there are people that care and people that want to protect you. And I was very much active in the community, and I decided that I wanted to go back. I couldn't go back to Afghanistan for 38 years due to Russian war and then civil war and then Taliban. And first time I could go is January 2002. And I went many, many times, and I went to the orphanages, and I started working with our American soldiers and going to the villages. And wherever I went, I saw that the girls were treated so badly. When you gave a gift to a little boy and a little girl, 5 steps from you, the boy would snatch it automatically, and if she refused, he would beat her up. And so I thought, God, it has to be the other way around, really, because when I was growing up, nobody beat me up, and I had all the privileges that a child can have. And we were treated, my brothers and myself, we were treated the same. And it was so difficult for me to realize that what these girls and these women are going through. And how to change the world is only really, if I didn't have education, I wouldn't know what the value of education is. And I thought that, well, I'm not rich, but I have a mission, and let's start somewhere that we can make life better for these girls and these families and these women. And actually the whole family, really, the whole community, how to bring them together and really make them realize that education is the only thing that will take them forward. And I always tell from the very first day that my really hope is in a 4-year-old girl. It might take her 30 years to be what I am, but we have to start somewhere. And we are making change, and we are working with the community, and men are agreeing, giving education to their daughters, which is a tremendous amount of change.
You have obviously seen this firsthand, because I've seen so many different documentaries and specials and news stories about how brutal the environment is in Afghanistan for women. It's oppressive. Oppressive is not even a strong enough word. You were over there, Beth. Mm-hmm. To see it firsthand as a Westerner, how bad is it? What is it like for us to understand how difficult her job is?
It is. It's so enormously difficult. It's absolutely breathtaking, honestly, how difficult it is. The challenges that these girls face to go to school every day, I mean, it takes so much courage to wake up and walk out that door and go to school. We think a lot about the security threats in Afghanistan, and it is a very dangerous place, and there are a lot of forces against girls and women and against girls' education in the country. And so that is a very real threat. But the even bigger threats to girls' education are the extreme poverty that more than anything keeps girls out of school, and also forced engagements and early marriages. And there are so many examples at the school where these girls, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, are forced to get engaged, forced to get married, and then forced out of school. And so, we saw that happening many times. We saw girls trying to stand up for their rights, being beaten up and abused, trying to keep themselves out of forced marriages, and sometimes succeeding, sometimes not. So when you see those victories happen, it's so meaningful and it's so powerful, because these girls, because they have an education and they have school, there's something to really fight for. This is something that 10 years ago, it was their lot in life was completely determined for them. They were born into really a life of total and complete servitude. And now they're beginning to imagine different futures for themselves. And because of that, we're seeing that their families now are also imagining different futures for themselves and that's really, really, really exciting, and it's really a dramatic change in the community. And I think it's an incredibly, powerfully tangible, hopeful thing that's happening in this community. But the challenges are just they're so oppressive. The families are living on less than $7 a week in many cases, and nothing in the world could make me truly understand child marriage. But I will tell you, I have a much greater appreciation for the incredibly hard choices that families are making when they are living in such extreme poverty. When they marry off a daughter, it means income for the family because they're getting a dowry from the boy's family. And this sustains families a year, 2 years, 3 years. And so, when you're dealing with that kind of crippling economic situation, that is often the driver for these really difficult decisions that families are making to get their daughters engaged. And I think what's really incredible about what Razia is doing by educating the girls, and now it's a K-12 school now, and in March, a college is opening up next door.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. I mean, it's just, it doesn't happen in rural Afghanistan. I mean, this is totally unique and unbelievable. What is going to happen as a result of this education is that families will see that if they can hold out a little longer, don't get the girl married, that actually the economic benefit to the family and the community is much greater when the girl is educated.
For you, Razia, I was just telling you, I've had the opportunity to chat with Fawzia Kufi, with Malala, people who have become public figures because of they are fighting the type of fight that you're trying to fight.
Sure.
And just from hearing from both of them, the personal danger that they have to go through, what has it been like for you personally to be fighting this type of fight Are you in danger every moment of your life?
Absolutely. I mean, I could be driving and somebody could take out a gun and shoot through the window of the car. And I travel every day to school and then from school to where I stay. So the danger is tremendously. But you know, that aside is that in life, you can't live a life of feeling that you are in danger, because without really thinking about yourself, and then your life is worth nothing.
So you decide to participate in this movie.
Sure.
What do you hope when you first make that decision? What do you hope this movie is going to add to what you're doing?
I think it let the world know. I think it has been such a lesson for, I'm looking for kids, for young people that are here or anywhere in the world. And they're so lucky that they have the opportunity, that's their right, to get education. And I go to a lot of schools, from kindergarten to older boys, girls, and I speak to them. My mission is something for the world to understand how lucky they are to be able to go to school, and how unlucky these kids are not to allow them to go to school. And we are making it happen for them. And every day for these girls are challenges. You know, I have to make deals with the families. That you know, first, the day we opened the school, the father came and said, you know, what would happen at home, like if she comes to school and spends 8 hours here. And I said, this is a deal. She'll get up at 4 o'clock. She will bring water from the well. She'll take the animals away, bring them back. She will help her mother make the breakfast, clean the house, and then she'll come to school. And then when she goes back, she will do the same thing.
Has that been a battle? And you are over there and you're living it. Has that been a battle? Because I'm Russian. And I can tell you with Russian media especially, and that's a much more sophisticated
Sure.
media than what we see in Afghanistan, they're very good about controlling the message, about what they want people
Sure.
to see and hear. Obviously in Afghanistan, and with the Taliban influence, it's probably exponentially higher in terms of controlling that message.
Sure.
Has it been a difficult fight to instill both in the young people but also the parents, hey guys, let's get more Western here with our beliefs, you know? Has it been tough?
I think they understand, and the only way they are with us now, that we have close to 600 girls going to school, and our dropout rate is like, in a year, maybe 85% that come to school, and we might lose 15% in a way that either they get married or they move somewhere else, but most of the kids are staying with us. And if somebody doesn't show up, we follow up and kind of really make it possible as much that we can. And it's in our, sometime I lose, of course, but I try my best to reason with the family why this child is not going to school. I have done things that I have a family that don't have mother or father. And it's, if you have read the story of Khalid Hosseini, the 1,000 Splendid Son, that the mother kills the father and then runs away and leaves these kids away. It's exactly the true story I have. And these two girls, one got married 11 years old, but the other one, I tried to keep her in school, and then one day her brother said she can't come to school. So I hired somebody to go to their home for 2 hours a day as just a separate thing and teach this girl as long as she can. So
Yeah, we filmed with that family quite
Sure.
extensively, and the girl she was 11 years old when she got married, and we really tried. She was in and out of school, in and out, and then finally her future in-laws said, that's it. No more. We're not going to put up with this. And we really tried to continue to talk with her and film with her. But when she got married, she moved to a very heavy Taliban area, and it was totally impossible for us to travel there.
So you're over there. They see a blonde white woman from America. Is there a curiosity coming from these young ladies? What is our world like? Are they coming to you and seeking guidance, advice?
I mean, but I have to say, they're listening to Shakira songs. I think sometimes before I am, and they'll tell you they all have Gmail and they're on Google Chat, and they're getting their news from the BBC. So they're because of the school, they're really connected, and I would say we have with the older girls kind of a sisterly relationship, and then with the younger girls more of a motherly relationship. But it's been so special because there is a bond that's been created because of the time that we've spent together, and so many of the girls they are yearning for so much, and they have such big dreams now. And there's one girl she's a fashion designer. I mean, that's what she is. She's constantly drawing. Razia brings her Cosmo and Vogue, and she's drawing these beautiful, elaborate evening gowns that she wants to design one day. And so she shares those with me, and wants to talk about how maybe she could do something like this in America. Many of the girls want to come here to study.
Well, and
so that's a big source of conversation.
That's a perfect transition to you go through the schooling. You go through hopefully the new university. What happens then to these girls? There's got to be very little in the way of opportunity there. What happens?
I think you have to really move very slow. And that's what I've done, and that's why we are successful. And this 2 years of college that we have for them, it's something that they'll get some tool to really, they don't have to go anywhere. If they finish midwifery and stay in the village, get married, they can always use it. They can always use it. There's 40% mortality rate for women giving birth. And
Did you just say 40%?
40, and same as the child. So it is something that this will, they might not do it right away. They might get married. Maybe they'll have 2-3 kids. They might move somewhere. But that certificate is in their hand. And one day she says, well, I had enough kids. I'm going to work. This is something, education is something, no matter what flavor it is going to help. It is something that nobody can take you.
What do they think of us over there? Obviously, there's an enormous Taliban presence. How are the Americans received? We've gone through so many years of warfare and occupying so much of the land. How do they look at us right now?
I think they love Americans. They dream of America. And I think the common person, for them, I think the best friend is America. Whatever, if you see any growth, if you see any prospect, it's because of America being there 12, 14 years. The money that America spent. There are a lot of schools there now. There are a lot of institutes and colleges. It costs money. But at least there is something in Kabul. Every day there's something popping out, And that is something that they have that, want to get better education. It's not in the rural areas, but in Kabul, there's plenty to get. If you have the money, you can, and if you are allowed. And, in American university, 60% are girls from around Afghanistan. In Kabul University, 80% women are women. They are from all around Afghanistan. So it's not something, if you give them opportunity, 9 of my girls that are going to graduate, 15 are graduating this year. 9 of them want to go to American University in Kabul.
What's been the reaction? We were just talking, this film premieres in Toronto. gets funded by the Tribeca Film Institute. It's gotten acclaim. What's been the reaction? Do people here see this and say, we want to help because we've seen this story?
Absolutely, and I think, and that's, I mean, it's a social issue, documentary filmmaker dream come true, really, what's happening with the film, because I'm seeing audiences are sharing with us how and why they think it is powerful in their own lives. And, you know, it's been really exciting to see what's happening with teachers and students,
I think,
administrators.
and men and women.
And they come together.
I mean, they just, believe me, there's not a person without teary eyes when they watch this. It is such a factual, it shows really life of people in general, really struggling to accomplish something that is a human right, that, you know, it's everybody's life counts. And for us to make that, you know, happen, and for them to realize that we are worth something, it's amazing. And I think we have so much great support from whoever sees this movie. They have no words of saying that how can they get involved in helping these girls to continue education and other girls and make it better for them. So we have great support throughout the world, really. And I hope that we'll hit a jackpot, that somebody will come up front and say, we will take care of this mission, you know. If I'm not there tomorrow, I want this school to be there for 100 years, more than 100 years, and somebody will take care of it.
I think when people turn the film on, there's this expectation of just, you know, the other. It's this very remote place. How could we possibly relate to it? Their lives are so completely different. The challenges they face are so completely different. And while that is true, the specifics of the challenges are different. So many teachers and so many students have told us the things that they find in common with the girls, with the teachers. You know, teachers who teachers in America do so many things that, you know, put themselves, you know, at risk to take care of their kids, and they want to put themselves out there and really go the extra mile. And that's what we see, you know, in Afghanistan. You know, we see kids who are really trying to make the best of their situations, who have trouble at home. I mean, how kids in America have trouble at home. And how do you navigate difficult conversations as a young person with your parents and with your teachers and try to have a better life? And what are the kinds of things that give you confidence and give you courage? And so there's so many really rich and thoughtful conversations happening, which really excites me. And, you know, certainly I do hope that, you know, after people finish the film, that they're not just, you know, inspired by what Razia is doing and by the courage that the girls have, but also want to try to take some kind of action. And I would love it if that action could be supporting these exact girls and supporting this exact school, because I've seen, since my first filming was in 2009, and the final shooting was in December 2015, which was the school's very first graduation. And in that short amount of time, what's happened is the community has gone from never supporting a girls' school at all, having no girls going to school, to now supporting not only a K-12 school in the village, but also now supporting a college that's being built next door. It's totally unbelievable.
Well, it's you know, it's like really, it's so much different. The first groundbreaking that I did for the school, and I was the only woman among all these men. And before, we had a small bulldozer there that was going to straighten the ground, and people were there. And I got a message from a gentleman and said that, tell Razia Jan to stop it. If you bring that bulldozer on the ground, I'm going to come and lie down in front of it. So you can't build the school. And I sent him a message. I said, well, I'll be so happy to bury you here and put a flag on it and say that this guy never wanted a girls' school, and it will be here for hundreds of years. But 8 years later, we did the groundbreaking for the college. And I told these men who were there, most of them were the same. Yeah. I said, you are not going to say one word till I tell you to say a word. And all my students, they spoke in English, they told the history, they welcomed everybody. And after they were finished, I told the men, now you can praise us. And they said, you are the mother of these subs and you are this and that. And I said, look at the difference. There the guy wanted to come and bulldoze me, and here is that they sat there quietly listening to these girls.
You're a boss. That's all I'm going to say. You're a boss. And you guys both rock. Congratulations on just a brilliant film, a brilliant mission. I'm so happy I get to speak to both of you. I'm inspired. I got chills listening to that. And it's really, anytime you sit here and think, we've got it bad, then I hear stories like this and I'm like, I'm going to go have a good time tonight and realize my life's pretty good.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, make sure to check out this incredible documentary, What Tomorrow Brings, featuring this incredible lady, made by this incredible lady. Really great stuff. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you so much.